I have a solution for the FedEx Cup playoffs. It starts this week at East Lake, and there's been changes over the years. We're going to fix that. Well, I think I have a great idea. It would be a lot of fun. So we're going to talk about that. Also, we'll kick everything off with the player of the year, Scotty Scheffler versus Jon Rahm. Now, I laugh a little bit because even Jon Rahm has to kind of look at this and shake his head because he just won the individual championship for the Live Golf season 2025. Great playing. He played amazingly, and he walked home with $18 million bonus and that big fat ring. Did you see that ring they made? Oh my gosh. That thing is incredible. Congrats, Jon Rahm. He played the best on the Live Tour for the year. So let's just go over his record, his performance for the year, and we'll compare it to Scotty Scheffler's. Because Scotty is leaps and bounds more points, more money than everybody else on the PGA Tour this year. And Jon Rahm just won on Live. So Jon Rahm played in 13 Live events plus 4 majors. So 17 events. Scotty Scheffler has played in 18 events, so very similar. So how did they stack up together? Jon Rahm finished second place 4 times in 13. That's pretty good. And he got a 6th in Australia, a 6th in Hong Kong, a T5th, tied for 5th, and tied 6th in Hong Kong, tied 5th in Singapore, tied 9th in Miami, 4th Mexico City, T7 in Korea, T8 in Virginia, Dallas, he got a T11, and he got 5th in the UK. In the 4 majors, Jon Rahm goes T14 at the Masters, tied for 8th at the PGA, tied for 7th at the US Open, and tied for 34th at the Open Championship. So, great season. Jon Rahm is one of the top golfers on the planet currently. And he had a great season. So he has 0 wins, though, this year. You get no wins, but yet you're the best player. And that's how it stacked up, right? He finished outside of the top 10 one time in the season. So fantastic. And he even performed incredibly well in the major championships where he's going against Scotty Scheffler and everybody else. So let's just compare that because only Scotty has just played like 1 extra event than Jon Rahm. He's got 18. So Scheffler in his 18 events has 5 wins. He's won 27% of the time versus Jon Rahm, 0%. All right, so whatever. We don't need to pile it on. He still won a big giant ring and $18 million. Scotty has made every cut, 18 for 18. Jon Rahm has also made every cut. Well, he only went up in 4 events that had cuts, but regardless, he still, I think, would have made equal amount of cuts. Scheffler has 15 top 10s. So Rahm has all top 10s except for 1, so very, very similar. Rahm has just got his $18 million bonus, plus the $2.25 million for finishing second place again in the last event. So that's a lot of money. And Scheffler just won 3.6 for his win at the BMW, 3.6 million. So pretty good. Second place on Live is a lot of money. And it's almost as much as first for the PGA Tour. Let's look at the 4 majors head-to-head, Rahm versus Scheffler. In the Masters, we said 14th, tied for 14th, Rahm. Scheffler got a 4th, so he beat him there. PGA, T8 for Rahm, which we talked about Scheffler. He won that, so he got that one. The US Open, they both tied for 7th, so head-to-head there. And then the Open Championship, T34, Scheffler won that. So head-to-head, Scheffler is dominating. And here's what's funny. And we'll get into this too when it comes to the Tour Championship, because Rahm's done, right? He just won the individual championship, locked it up. It's a points race. They don't do anything beyond that other than the team championship. So now the teams go head to head and they're fighting for a match play event, team head to head, which is pretty cool. I like that. But they leave out the individual deal for that. It's already wrapped up. So the Tour, the PGA Tour, does it a bit differently. They go to the Tour Championship, the FedEx, East Lake, and they've done it in many different ways. And I think it used to be there was a individual champion for the FedEx at East Lake, and then there was also like the Tour champion for the year, which for me, that kind of made a lot of sense because the guy who played the best over the course of the year should win that. And then many times, there were two different winners in the same week, right? You had the guy who won at East Lake and then the guy who won for the year. And it got confusing for like the casual golfer. And they're like, well, who won? Nobody really, like the average viewer just was a little confused and a lot of questions. So they wanted to have it so there was just one winner. So they would have this weird stagger scoring start. So depending on how you did for the year, you were this many under par was your beginning score. And so then the winner like was 30 under par, I think last year. Like Scheffler win. Like so you would look at the score and it still wouldn't make sense because they're so far under par. But they wouldn't start anybody over par because I guess I don't know why they wouldn't do that. That would just make too much sense. Like the winner or the best should just start level and then everybody else is over par after that. Either way, it's the same thing, except at the end of the day, you don't have somebody like 30 under par for 4 rounds because then you just look at that number and like, how'd they shoot 30 under at that Tour Championship? It didn't make any sense. So anyways, this year they've gotten rid of that. Everybody starts at even par. And they just, hey, go win, right? That's kind of ridiculous too, because you've got a guy, Scotty Scheffler, who has, this is hilarious, he has 7,456 FedEx Cup points for the year. Second place is Rory McIlroy at 3,687. So Scheffler has more than double the amount of points than second place. And he is clearly the best player of the year. Clearly. Just based on points and major wins and everything else. So he should be given the Tour champion. He should win it, right? So think about this. And this is what I think we should do in the future. This is my solution for this. So we don't have to deal with what we have here is a clear winner is not going to win. Let's just say probably won't win the FedEx Cup bonus money of $10 million for first place, 5 for second, 3.7, whatever for third, and it goes down and down. Like poor Scotty's not, chances are he's not going to get the 10 million. And why do I say that? Because it's just so hard to win back to back. He just won 3.6 and now he's got to go and gear up for like a major championship, sort of like it's a big check, but he should be already given the check based on where he's at. So here's what I propose. It should be like Jeopardy, where you have everybody who makes the Tour Championship and you take however many points you have for the year, and that's what you are allowed to risk, to bet, to put up at stake. For example, let's say somebody has 1,500 FedEx Cup points. What they could do is say, okay, I'm going to put up all 1,500 of my points. So if I win, I get 3,000 points. And if I don't win, I lose my 1,500. So what they should do is have a formula where you put you risk this many points. So, for example, this would be one of the rare years where, like in Jeopardy, the first place person has, unless they're silly and do something ridiculous, like they're going to win that night of Jeopardy, right? You have more than double. There's no way you're going to risk all your money and miss the question and then, go back to zero. You just would not do that. So this year would be one of those cases where Scottie Scheffler would probably do the math and say, okay, I'm only going to bet X amount of points. I don't even need to bet. I'll bet zero and I'm going to go home and just play the 4 rounds and collect my $10 million. But most years you wouldn't be that far ahead of second place. So you would risk a certain amount of your points or your money and then play the event. This way, theoretically, mathematically, anybody could win that made the tour championship. And then you could even refine the point list. So okay, if you bet 1,000 points that you're going to win, well, if you get second, you should still get something of those points, right? You shouldn't lose everything because you didn't finish first, you finished second. So there would be hey, if I bet 1,000 and I win, I double my money. But if I get second, I get this many. Now, it would get confusing, but I think you could have a little ticker on the side that said, hey, this is how many points everybody risked. And what they do is everybody risks it in privacy. Nobody knows how much you're going to risk. You submit it, and then the numbers populate, and everybody looks at that before they tee off for the first round. They're like, okay. Everybody's doing this, and everybody knows this year Scottie would bet zero and he's going to get first place. That's fine. But so you're fighting for second place. You're fighting for that 5 million, that 3.7, and so on and so forth. And you're looking and saying, okay, this person gambled this much. And so you look and see okay, I've got to beat this guy by that much. That would be, in my opinion, the most interesting, because it's kind of you collect throughout the year your points, and then you're going to put your chips on the table in the tour championship. It's kind of it would be you're gambling your winnings. But you're winning, it's still a bonus event, right? So it's like a gift for playing well for the year. So it's almost like you're at a company Christmas party and they give you a bunch of chips to go gamble in the casino after the party, right? It's like your bonus. So that's what you're doing. You're taking your bonus and you're putting it up, and then you're going to play for it. So for the first time, and the only time of the year, the players are actually putting up, let's say, their own money. They're putting their own skin in the game. So I think it would be a phenomenal, incredible, exciting build-up to the Tour Championship, as opposed to this year, Scottie is by far the best, and we even witnessed that again this past weekend. I mean, come on. The guy's just ridiculous. He's on a tear, and he's been on a tear. He might, and probably the odds are he won't win. That doesn't make any sense. But I would love to see everybody throw their chips on the table. And now it's if you're 30th, you're probably going to go all in and just say, look, it's everything or nothing. I need to double my money. I need to go for broke. But the top guys are well, I'm only going to gamble this much, but they don't know what everybody else does. It's in secret until, just before the first round kicks off. So it's free. PGA Tour people, just take it. I think it would be most interesting. I think that'd be a pretty cool way to do it. And I don't know, maybe YouTubers can get together and do a similar type of event. Everybody kind of secretly puts in their stuff. That would be cool. We can YouTube test it as a test case. We need maybe, 15, 20 creators to get together. That's an idea too. I've just got a lot of them. But nonetheless, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.